Hi there and welcome. It's Roger at SwiftCloud. In this very quick video, I just want to show you what the plugin can do so that you have an overview of whether it's right for you. It's designed for real estate and it will create really just two things. Number one, it'll create a list of listings, a list of properties that you are presumably selling. It'll also create a detail page that looks something like this, right? In a moment, we'll go through it. So first, the list view. All of this information comes from the back end, and I'll show you that in a moment. You also have a map, and the map can be set to whatever you have. So on the back end, what you need to do in the Whirlwind tour here is you need to have one page with this shortcode. And we'll give you this information. And when you enable the plugin, it will probably create this page for you. So this determines right here how many show in the list. Now this sold is based on the status, and the status is right down here, all the way down here at the bottom, and you set it right here. So if you have it set to sold, then the little red tag will appear automatically like so. If you need a language that is not English and you need that function, by all means reach out to us. We're happy to help. This was designed for the US market. However, we did plan for it non-US markets in the programming, in the sense that we do have support in the settings for meters versus square feet. So you can put in meters, or even if you're selling farmland, you want to put in acres, that's fine. We're happy to help. So you do have some options here. So if you need something that you don't see, we're sort of in a wonderful spot where we're a hybrid between a software company and an agency, and we still do work for hire. And so we aim for agency style service. We do have a pro version versus a light version. Now the pro version has additional functions, of course, as is common with these plugins, but you do not need to pay to use and get value from the system. So if you just want a property listing that looks great, and I'll also note that it also has a printable flyer. And so it'll make a nice looking print flyer. What you can do is print just page 1, for example, and just leave off page, right? So just change this to custom and then just put in 1, like so. Make a nice looking printable flyer that you could then put in a box at the property if you choose to. This QR code, if scanned, will bring somebody to the actual listing on your website. So whatever that is. So let me go through this in a little bit more detail and show you just a whirlwind tour of the controls. The pro version, so one of the common questions is regarding IDX. IDX is complicated because all of the various MLSs, the multiple listing service if you're in the United States, that varies based on the MLS board. There isn't a single unified format. All the different boards, there's really 8 or 12 different formats in the United States, and all of the markets work that way. So we are moving towards that, and if you are looking for IDX support, where you have the native listings on your website, you should, number one, check with your real estate board first, because some of them charge substantial amounts of money for that level of access. So I was in Los Angeles prior to moving to Charleston, South Carolina, and in Los Angeles, I think the charge for that was something like $500 per month, because they were aiming that at large companies, right? They weren't just aiming that was outside the purview of just a typical agent or broker. They were aiming for large companies, you know, the Zillows of the world and Yahoo Real Estate and whatever. So they charge a lot of money for that information. Now, if you have access to that information and you still wish to proceed, or it's within the cost and it makes sense for you and you wish to hook that up to your website, then reach out to us. Basically, what will happen is it is a bit more complex, because then we need to check it every few hours and remove the properties that are sold and update the status and deal with the formatting and that kind of thing. So it is a big project. There is a completely different set of fees that go with that. So if you just want to showcase your own listings, which is really what this was initially designed for out of just necessity. So in this case, what this client does is he has an MLS, an iframed MLS, which is a common way to go, and that allows you to search the entire MLS. And then Altadena listings, in this case, are his individual properties, most of which at any given time are sold, and it's just a really great way to showcase that information. It is worth noting that you could use this for really anything. You could use it for even rental real estate, for example. You could use it to sell boats. You do have different options. It's really designed for residential real estate. But if you need some specific small modifications to it for some related purpose, such as commercial real estate, then by all means reach out to us. So let's go through this in detail. So the logo is from the back end, and that is right about here, right there. So you just go here on the left side, you see Swift Property, click Settings. Here you can upload the image, select the existing one that you have. I recommend one that's punched. Punched means the background is removed. It'll look a little better. Worth noting is that Schedule Visit, right now what it'll do is it'll just bring you down the page, but we are hooking up Swift Schedule. So as a separate project, we do allow for each homeowner or property owner to set their own schedule as to when they allow listings. That can be very helpful with them because that way you're not in the middle, and so you just give them access, and for the, let's say, the few weeks or few months that it takes to get that property sold, you set up their schedule, and then as soon as the property's sold, then you lock that off and you can kind of go from there. So that is integrating with Swift Schedule. That's part of Swift Cloud. That's an example of a paid feature. However, the cost of it is very modest, and especially when it takes you out of the equation in most cases. If you're going to allow showings without you there in the United States, that's common through the brokers because they're showing up with their own agent. So if you're outside the United States, we do have a different program in which you can promote the listings of other people and you can make some money. And the only way you can play in that game is if you are doing that. So it's similar to the US MLS system. Basically, we've got a centralized pool that we can help promote your properties to, and then also you can make money from. If you want to upload images, we do support bulk upload of images. These can be fairly high res. So you want them to be, now that is subject to the limitations on your WordPress setting. So by default, for example, that is often 2 meg. So you can't upload necessarily a 20 meg image. You would need to speak to your web host about that. If you're on your own system, then just take a look at that. If you have any problems with that, if you're getting errors, then we would encourage you to look into that first. It's probably not due to our plugin. It's probably due to the configuration of your WordPress. So that said, 2 meg is common, and that's a plenty large image. That's a very, very high res, nice looking image. So I hope this helps you. In this video, I just want to give you an overview of what it does and what's possible. So we do support CSV upload. So you could upload a batch of properties, and that is a precursor towards full IDX and that kind of thing. If you don't need that, then the system should work right out of the gate. If you are a developer, then we do have various options for developers. Right now, the Pro version allows the following functionalities. Number one, it'll allow you to connect to multiple different CRMs, which may not be CRM. And if you need a CRM that's not here, then talk to us. And then we'll charge for it. You'll have to have a Pro version because at that point, we're not making any money from this unless we do. If you just want the email, then it's free. You just need the light version. The other option is for the scheduler. So if you want to use Swift Schedule, if you want to use the automated follow-up from Swift CRM, those systems cost money, but they're very modest and they really save you a tremendous amount of time and money. And frankly, they should be making you a lot more money than they cost. So generally, that's a non-issue. But if you have any questions, by all means, reach out to us at swiftcrm.com/support. We're happy to hear from you. We want this to be useful. So thanks. Welcome.